Holly Cotton here, and you guys, I have a treat for you today. You know that I love a feel good story. You know, I love a survivor story. You know, I love, like my hashtag is always saying, whole team winning. So I love, love, love whenever I get these stories like our guest that we have today. So I want to welcome Ethan Poetic. And Ethan has a very interesting story of survival. He will tell us his story, and then not only that, but he's also going to tell us about some of the great things that he's doing since his survival story. So, welcome, Ethan.
Hey, thank you, Holly Cotton. I appreciate you having me on. Share the story, inspire people to overcome their
Love
own
it, love it, love it.
adversities.
Okay, so first, Ethan Poetic. We know that now your alias is Ethan Speaks. So let's just get straight into the story about how you went from just regular Ethan Poetic and then your story of survival.
Um, let's see. It happened on a Saturday, March 19th, 2011. I was helping out with this nonprofit organization. At the time, it was called Children Deserve a Chance Foundation. Now has rebranded to Atalo. The former CEO and still founder is Jordan as Steffi. The goal is to help raise funding for his nonprofit organization so he can help out the youth and continue to thrive. And we exceeded our goal with numerous people from a lunch shift to a previously from a breakfast shift of selling Dewsbury watches. My family was there being supportive. We leave the event and then bam, I was involved in a near fatal car accident. It happened in Paradise, Pennsylvania. Basically, our driver ran into an 18-wheeler head on, and that's the day my life changed forever. Where the police were called, traffic was backed up several miles away both ways, and then there's also the ambulance coming, the news people coming, the fire department coming. It was just it was like a scene from Law and Order, but much bigger. And I don't remember the car accident. It's just one of the situations where I was there when it happened, but I have no recollection of it for whatever reason. So I tell people all the time either it was from the concussion or maybe it just wasn't meant for me to know. And basically, can you imagine the police using the yellow tape to taper off the crime scene just to make sure the debris is picked up and so they could do the investigation? Can you imagine the fire department cutting the car in half with the jaws of life? Can you imagine EMT people checking my pulse in my neck to see if I'm still breathing? And then they put this neck brace on me. Then they take me out the car, put me in the ambulance, strap me down, and rush to the nearest hospital because the nearest hospital is at least 30 minutes away from Paradise, Pennsylvania to Lancaster. And that hospital was Lancaster General Hospital on North Duke Street. And the operating table was getting ready, the operating room was getting prepped. This one doctor named Dr. Wartella was received a phone call that he has to be here. It's an emergency. He had to say goodbye to his family members and do this high risk surgery on me. And along the way, it was uncertain if I was going to make it because I was supposed to die within 3 to 5 minutes of internal bleeding. And it just didn't happen. They still did the high risk surgery anyway. A woman thought I had died on the operating table because my pulse went away. The surgery was done. She was crying hysterically. And they decided to just let this thing weigh out to see if I wake up or not. Even if my pulse was going, they decided to sedate me. And pretty much it was just a time period of waiting where I was on a lot of prayer lists, I believe over 30 around the United States and around the world. then making the headlines in the newspaper and television, radio. Then I remember seeing all these social media posts. When I look back on it now, from all these people saying we're praying for you, this can't go down like this. And then I wake up 2 times. First in the cloud nine state under heavy medicine. Then the second time in a more conscious state with less medicine, and that's where I see the woman crying tears of joy at the table, at the not the table, the door, and that's when was declared officially a walking living miracle.
So when you had the accident, your body probably, just like you said, it was such a traumatic experience, and it probably, that's why you probably don't have any recollection. It's almost like your body's way of protecting you from having that traumatic experience. So I know whenever people hear that, you had the 1% chance of survival and now you're living and you look fabulous and you're doing all of this, but but give us some insight into that whole recovery part, because a lot of times people, they hear the survivor story, they see the success, but they don't realize all the work that you had to go through, because I know you had to do rehab and, so give us the I guess the dirty truth about how all of that was like. Yeah, you woke up, but then what came next?
I remember this quote. It says, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." And it was a 99% chance of death versus 1% chance of life. And in this situation, that 1% was the faith of a mustard seed that I needed to survive and wake up. But the road to recovery was very long, a marathon, full of uncertainty, full of question marks. Of course, I went to rehab for physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, you name it. And then more adversity was when I got put on a feeding tube, because I was already underweight by 80 pounds. I already had a left black eye. I already had IVs in my vein. I could barely walk. I'm in this wheelchair. And to be on this feeding tube was just more than humbling of the experience. I never seen so many people stop what they're doing to see me in the hospital, the rehab, and also when I was at home recovering. Some people just couldn't believe it until they saw it. Saw I was really skinny down to the pin. They saw me not being able to eat like I used to, not being able to drink like I used to, not being able to be out and about, and I'm dependent on people I don't even know for my recovery. And then when I finally do recover, finally be able to eat again, drink again, there was some more adversity that happened. I talk about in my autobiography. That's called The Inspirational Story of Ethan A. Poetic Chronicles of Adversities, Education, Sports, Relationships, and Resiliency.
Yeah, and
You
we're
know,
gonna say, don't give
but
them
there's
too much of
also,
that, Ethan. We're gonna get into that later. We're gonna, because I want to talk specifically about the book. But yeah, just don't yeah, save a little bit, save
save
a
the
little bit.
dessert.
So the recovery, and I was pulling up, you guys, for anyone that's going to watch the video, and then for anyone that's listening to the audio, I actually was pulling up because Ethan, on his website, ethanspeaks.com, he actually has one of the articles that were written about him, from the Southeast Times, and it tells his story and it shows his pictures and stuff. So I was reading your article as well, and you have a lot of inspirational stuff in that article. So were you always, I know you said you were working with a nonprofit organization, and doing all of that before the accident. So have you always been a spiritual person? Like, has Christianity been a big part of your life before the accident, or did it just make you, now that you survived, you were like, oh Lord, let me get my life together now?
I was always in church. I remember going to church with my grandma, my mom, my dad, and other family members. And I remember the occasional knock on the doors from Jehovah's Witness, trying to have people convert. I've been saved since May 2009. That's my own choice, not no child baptism choice where a parent or guardians make that choice. That's on my YouTube channel where I admit I'm a sinner and all this other stuff. Faith was always in my life. It's just there was some adversities that I experienced growing up in a single parent household, having a strange relationship with my father, and many other tricklets along the way. Faith did help in the situation. It's like when I wasn't able to eat or drink, my mouth's all watery, and I didn't see the life coming attractions. And I was just like, I gotta read this Bible, keep my mind on something else besides my present circumstances. And one of the key things that happened along the way was when I did meet up with Jordan Steffi again back at the Mia Heights golf tournament. There was supposed to be a special guest speaker to show up, but unfortunately they missed out because allegedly they missed out on their plane being delayed. So Jordan, being a former three-sport athlete, he played football, basketball, track. His main position was quarterback, where he likes to call audibles, changes. And when he's facing the adversity of his guest speaker not being there, he had to change up the playbook in the program. Like, what am I gonna do? And I know that look in their eye, like something's up. And he does a small speech, and waves his hand for me to come up, and he makes this elaborate speech about my situation. And then he puts his arm around me and he says something that really silenced the room. He says, Ethan's going to graduate with a college degree. My heart was taken away when I looked up at him like, did he just say that? Here I am on a feeding tube. Here I am barely able to walk. Can't eat. Lost my freedom. I'm still in this recovery process. And you say, I'm going to graduate college. And it was just like fathom me like this is not a dream, this is something real. And eventually people did start crying, tearing up, getting the tissues right here and there. Then they're ready to take pictures of me, and then they're ready to like say, if there's anything you need, Ethan, here's my business card, just let me know, here's my email, here's my phone call, just contact me and I'll get it done on the hour, by the hour. I never seen such a big outpour like that in my life on the spot. And, I realized Jordan Steffi's faith runs deep. And, he must have been really praying hard with his girlfriend, now wife, Miss Keandra Bear Steffi, and his other family members. And he also had faith going back back during his time in high school, where he helped a guy get emergency surgery for his brain. Because when Jordan Steffi scored 1,000 points, he requested for people in the crowd to donate $1 for this cause. And eventually, over $1,000 was raised. A brain surgery was done. And that faith of that, situation resulted in him starting his own nonprofit to give back to others in need. And he saw something in me that I didn't see something in myself at the time. And eventually, I'll tell more about it later.
Yes,
Like you
yes,
said,
yes.
I say the
Okay,
dessert
so
thing.
how old were you when you were in the accident? Okay, and how
Early
old are you now?
20s.
Okay,
I'm
so you've had a
36.
long 10 years, 10 plus years maybe of recovery. So what all, I know you said you had a feeding tube and whatever. So did you break your neck, or it was just like contusion? What did you have? Yeah, like what injuries
Are you
did you
talking about the
have that you've had
injuries?
to overcome? Just for anyone that's listening.
Concussion, left black eye, torn aorta. My wrist was hurting. I lost a lot of weight. They had these tubes inside my chest. They had IVs in both my veins.
Mhm.
It was real. I
So
can't
did
make this
you
up.
so did you have to like learn how to walk again whenever you did it? Like did you lose the ability to walk? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's like when you lose so much weight, muscle mass, and go through something that traumatic, it messes with all these sensories. It's like a big reset button happens. And then there's also the muscle memory starts over with
Mhm.
that concussion. Like you sometimes we take advantage of, being able to pick up a bag of groceries, turn a doorknob, turn on the key to our car, or put some earrings
Hey,
on.
I know I'm a cancer survivor and I've had to have multiple surgeries, so I know exactly what you're saying. I remember I used to always say that I couldn't even put my hair in a ponytail. Like people take it for granted just to be able to have the movement to do something like put your hair up or shave your leg or tie your shoe. Like people don't realize those little things when you are able to do those things again after some type of accident or surgery or whatever the recovery, you're like, oh my God, I did this, I did that. Like it becomes a big thing. So, of all the injuries that you had from your accident, what was the hardest thing for you to recover from?
Uh, I was a combination of the concussion. Like I was sensitive to light to the point where I say turn the light off. Like please do that. Then the headaches, taking all these medicines, feeling all this pain throughout my body still. And thankfully I didn't get addicted to any of the opioids. Then there's also just not being able to do what I normally would do. It was just a life changing situation.
Right. Just that loss of independence and not like you said, now having to have people take care of you is difficult. So I love mhm. So I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah,
Go ahead, Ethan.
yeah. It
Sorry.
wasn't like people. Yeah. It wasn't like people were taking care of me like King Tut or Prince or a Pharaoh. This is a serious situation of I gotta trust people to do certain things for me, and I'm not even asking them to do it.
That's good though that you had people that at least were able to help you and come in and assist you because some people don't have anyone. So at least you were blessed to have that part. Having a good community and circle is like crucial to your recovery. Now, so you took all of that, we'll say, well, you took all of that pain to find your passion and purpose, which is Ethan Talks right now. So tell us about your book because how did you come up with writing a book?
It's a combination of a lot of things. Um, I was in college. I was going to Mills University during COVID. It was the spring semester of 2020. Our classes had to be taken online through Zoom since the campuses were shut down. Then I got invited to this Greek family's home called the Veronis family. We're eating lunch, fellowshipping. And then one person mentions, Ethan, you should write your own autobiography. And everyone's eyes just light up for some reason. Like, you know what? He should do that. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it because I just felt like that's a vulnerable situation to be in all over again. And then I just kept getting fed to the point where, as they say, the key to a man's heart is to his stomach, and hard to say no after a while. And eventually I decided to buy in and do it and get the motion, get everything started. And as soon as I got started, I got calls from publishers. One of them said, "You sign with us, we'll own the lion's shares rights of your movie and the soundtrack." And I realized I can't let you do that to me and monetize all my experience, my self worth, my name, image, and likeness, and all the decisions it took to make that recovery. And you're coming on the back end. And that's when I realized I could make my own movie and soundtrack myself. And it shows again they were seeing something in me that they can potentially profit off of from a multi-million-dollar idea. And eventually I ended up getting encouraged from my mentor Bob Paul to do self-publishing school. And I got invited by Chandler Bolt to 2 webinars. He gave me the blueprint through a PDF. And I realized I could do the same thing a publisher does. Create my own team, my own editor, hire that person, hire a person to do the book cover through Adobe Illustrator. Then I can ask some people for book cover reviews, forewords, and then of course buy the ISB numbers by the bulk, barcodes by the bulk, and of course get a professional picture. And this is what you see: the inspirational story of Ethan A. Poetic, chronicles of adversities, education, sports, relationships, and resiliency. This is the soft cover, and this is the hard cover with a laminated case. Harder, better quality for those who are old school. And then here's the inner cover. And pretty much it was a work in progress. I'd like to give a shout out to Ingram Spark. We're starting and allowing people to be self-published authors and get better deals on their own stories, their writing abilities and creativities, and everything else. And my book's presently available online, print on demand, like Amazon, Walmart, Target, Barnes and Noble, Kobo, all major platforms around the world do a distribution deal. Available as a hardcover, softcover, ebook. And of course, my website is ethanspeaks.com for people to buy the books off me directly. The difference is you buy it from me, I'll just charge you for the book. I'll sign it, autograph it, charge you for the shipping, handling. And then once you tell me your P.O. box or mailing address and pay me, then that same day I will have that book mailed out to you, and I'll take a screenshot of the tracking number. That way you know where the book is going. I know where the book is going. I'm a legit brand. I'm reputable. And my story is very unique. Like, for example, most people only have 1 or 2 forewords. I have 8 forewords. And I was very appreciative of all that support from people I know.
So I know one of the things that you talk about, that your mission is to equip, empower, and enhance. So that's kind of your mission statement. That's, I guess, what you've come up with, that you want to be a reflection of Ethan Poetic. So give us the details on equip, empower, and enhance.
What I tell people sometimes is that the earth is over 2,000 years old. Therefore, there's a lot of stories to learn from to overcome your own trauma, wounds, scars, adversities, underlying pain. So, therefore, the blueprint's already out there. It's just sometimes we have to do the work on an individual level, whether it's with a life coach, support group, self-talk, talk therapy, or some people learn the hard way and get a reality check from a judge where everything's in the legal system's hands. But ultimately, everyone has a purpose in their own life. Everyone has gifts, talents. It doesn't have to be the most elaborate. It's just, for me, I'm a multiple sports student athlete, and all those skills transfer right over to business education, resiliency, and using this gift to encourage other people. That way they become a better versions of themselves. Just like how other people invested in me, even though I had a strange relationship with my father, growing up in a single parent household in poverty of five, but there were still people investing in me because they saw something greater than me. Like, there's two examples I can give you. Like, both my grandmoms, one was into the church, one would go to church, just for Easter Sunday, and they make Sunday dinner that same day. When my one grandma saw me in person, she held me in her arms and she realized out of all the grandchildren, I'm the one that's born with greatness. Because she was a former teen parent and turn her situation to her advantage. Then my other grandma, she had all her kids in a marriage, well over 50 years of marriage, I believe. And when she saw me, she had faith that I was born with greatness. And in time, when a person's born with greatness, they're born with like special abilities to overcome and do something special. And I realized it's not what I have with the gift, it's what I do with it. And I realized when you're born with greatness, it's a matter of serving. Because there's kids that look up to me more than they do with their own biological parents. There's kids that look up to me more than a teacher, administrator, because they see someone who came from the same environment, circumstances of poverty, single parent households, and much more. And then to bridge the gap with sports, education, and community engagement, now we're on to something. And that's when these kids get to have something invested in them that's going to be planting the seed or multiple seeds. Now they can pay it forward to when they grow up.
And I love that, Ethan. I love that you are using your story to inspire so many other people. Now, what is the main thing? Because I know you want to come on and tell your story, and I know you want to share about your book or and tell about how you overcame this adversity. I know that you're speaking in the public and doing all of this. So when someone hears you speak or when someone hears you on my show, what is the one thing that you want to know that they took away from your story?
Uh, well, I can make a long story short, and I talk about my book, where some people, I overcame the accident, I got back on my feet and everything. It's just, I want you to remember that I did graduate college twice. I did receive numerous awards and accolades from the Republicans, Democrats, Lancaster City Council, and the mayor, Denise Sirachi. I had a special Overcoming Adversity Award named after me from Mills University's head department, Dr. Teresa Russell Loretz. I really want you to understand is that not too many people not only survive a car accident, which is 1%, get detoxed off the medicine and don't experience a relapse, but then have the courage to get behind the wheel, further education twice by graduating from a community college and a university, while growing up in a single parent household of five. What I have to tell you is that my story is once in a generation. What I've experienced in life, you can relate to. And it's going to be substance. And what I really want you to get out of it is this, is that have an open mind, have an open heart, and realize you're witnessing history and what I'm doing, and you could be part of the history and what you're going to do in your life by becoming a better version of yourself.
Oh, I love that, Ethan. I love the way you phrase that. I like that. I
You're
like that.
welcome.
Okay, so to wrap up, tell everyone again your any social media tags that you have, your website, and then also some of the services. Because I know, like I said earlier, I know that you're speaking and you're doing things. So this is your time to tell everyone all the great stuff that Ethan does and how to get in touch with him.
Well, my website is ethanspeaks.com. My services are keynote speaking, life coaching, poetry workshops, mental health advocate. I speak at conferences, colleges, private schools, public schools, private events, summits, panels, you name it. All you have to do is go onto my website, ethanspeaks.com, and you click on the request a consultation, fill out the form. Hey, I get to see if this aligns with me. We get to set up a 10 to 15-minute consultation. Hey, if we, I'll just say, speaking to existence, once we work together on a verbal level, then from there you have to pay my speaking fee, and you have to sign a contract. That way, for all legal purposes, because I am legit as seen, recognized on the front page of Langston newspaper, WJL, which is also affiliate of NBC, and then there's also I've featured on ABC, WITF Radio, several podcasts in America, and of course, a two-time college graduate, and many other accolades and awards I could name,
Yeah.
but I
No,
don't feel like doing a
we're just
rundown.
just your
Again,
they can catch all of that on your website.
yeah,
So
social media.
website is uh-huh.
Okay, yeah, yeah. My name is Ethan Poetic, ETHAN, Poetic POETIC. That name is available on LinkedIn, Facebook, my YouTube channel. Then Ethan Poetic 23, ETHAN, POETIC 23. That's available. That username is available on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and then on Twitter it's Ethan V23. And you're gonna experience something amazing, greatness, what you're witnessing. And the best part about it is this: the best is
That's
yet to
right.
come.
That's right. I love it. I love it. I love it. No ceilings. No ceilings. So that thank you, Ethan, for coming in and telling your story because I know you tell it a lot. I know you've told it numerous times. So I'm happy that you did tell us about your, the accident and the recovery process, and hopefully that inspires some people because I know sometimes you get up and you feel overwhelmed, or maybe some people have mental health issues, or maybe they have some kind of depression, whatever. So hearing positive stories of people who had a second chance at life is always something I think is inspiring. So thank you for sharing that, and I will have all of Ethan's uh tags and everything that he just listed in the podcast notes as well. So easy access. Make sure you check out his website, support his book, all of that great stuff that he's doing. We'll continue to support you, Ethan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. I'll make sure to support you as well. Put our interview on my social media
Love it.
platforms,
Love
my
it.
YouTube
Okay. All
channel.
right. So that is Ethan Poetic, aka Ethan Talks. So it's nice to meet you, Ethan.